Welcome to Lazy Gaming, a place where Play 2's writers can fill in a quiet day while being as lazy as possible. After all, what's lazy in the countdown video? Don't worry though folks, all of our 5 responses will be in one video. We're simply too lazy to go chasing hits by placing them in multiple clips. I'll now throw to Matt Hewson, who will run you through our next video.
With the Bethesda deal done and dusted, Microsoft is apparently back in the market for more studios to boost their Game Pass machines. There are also a lot of rumours circulating that Microsoft would love to try their hand at the Japanese market once again, so they're looking at purchasing 1 or 2 studios to do exactly that. So with all that in mind, I thought it would be fun to look at some potential targets for the Big M's money machine. So here are my top 5 targets for Microsoft's checkbook.
Number 1.
Number 1. Capcom. Let me start out by saying this is extremely unlikely. The fact that Capcom is killing it at the moment and have already got deals in place with both Nintendo and Sony for various titles. In fact, the only reason I am mentioning Capcom is there's been a lot of rumours about another Bethesda-sized buyout, and Capcom is the only company around that I can think of that fits that bill. But holy hell, it would be earth-shattering if it were to happen. No single move could even come close to the effect that a Capcom buyout would have on Microsoft's presence in Japan. Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, all on Game Pass. That would be the granddaddy of all moves by Microsoft. As I said, I think it's highly unlikely, but it sure is something to think about.
Well, Ethan Winters. There you are.
Number 2.
All I wanted to be was a hero. I saw my life's path ahead of me. Ichi, would you be willing to get arrested for the
Number 2. Sega. This is a company that often gets mentioned in the same breath as Microsoft because it really is an obvious fit. Microsoft wants to move into Japan in a bigger way, and Sega has a host of IP that could do with some reinvigoration, something that a Microsoft purchase could provide. This is all being fueled even more by the recent Game Pass deals the two companies have made, bringing a host of Sega titles, most notably the Yakuza franchise, to the Microsoft sub-service. Really, this buyout makes complete sense, and I think both Microsoft and Sega fans stand to gain a great deal if it occurs. Can you imagine Sega All-Stars Racing featuring the Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix? Nah, probably not. That's a bit of a step too far.
sure know how to make an entrance.
Number 3.
Open your eyes, Walker.
Number 3. Yager. This is the smallest of the dev teams I'm going to suggest, but is potentially the most promising. Developers of the chronically underappreciated The Cycle, but more importantly, the masterminds behind perhaps the most affecting story ever told by a shooter in Spec Ops: The Line. Yager have talent coming out of their ears. They just don't seem to have the marketing nous to capitalise on it. That's where Microsoft comes in. Hands them the blank check and says, "Hey Yager, you do you. We'll take care of the rest." It would be wonderful to see them take on another project like Spec Ops, but I think the only way they're going to be able to do that is if a big company buys them out. So it may as well be one that lets the team work as it functions best, and not one that will change everything on them. EA.
Number 4.
Number 4. Techland. Not a Japanese developer, but one that Microsoft would do well to look at. Techland is perhaps an ideal target for a buyout. The developers behind the excellent Dying Light and the cult classic Call to Juarez Gunslinger are in the position of a lot of similar-sized developers. They have the talent, but struggle for funding to get their games out in a timely manner. This is where Microsoft steps in. Much the same way how they handled Double Fine, Ninja Theory and Obsidian, they become a safety net and pool of resources so talented devs can do what they do, and that is making great games. There is no doubt it would be a great fit, and despite the shooter legacy that Xbox can't seem to shake, it has actually been a very long time since they have had an FPS besides Halo under the Xbox banner. The other big bonus is we might finally get to play Dying Light 2.
Yet life must be more than just survival.
And number 5.
Number 5. Konami. Konami is one of the names that gets bandied about whenever a big company brings out their checkbook, and that's with good reason. Konami has a host of underutilized IP under its banner, with the biggest being the behemoth that is Metal Gear Solid. Of course, Kojima has moved on, but that's not to say that the idea of a Microsoft-published Metal Gear game wouldn't be a cracking title. Throw in the ever-asked-for Silent Hill reboot, and the chance for Microsoft to bring Pro Evo back to its glory days, and is looking like a mighty fine option. The only catch is, Konami currently makes tons on its pachinko machines, so that gambling aspect may not sit well with the Microsoft hierarchy.
From here on out, you're on your own. I like working solo anyway. Nice.
So there you have it, 5 companies that I feel would thrive under Microsoft, and would help push the Xbox forward in areas that it has lacked. It is worth noting I have no inside knowledge and I am likely talking out of my backside, but as with many articles of this nature, the fun is in the speculation, so why not speculate yourself? Let us know in the YouTube comments below what you think would be a good buyout for Microsoft and their Xbox ecosystem. Can't wait to read what you have to say.
So that's this episode of Lazy Gaming done and dusted. If you enjoyed it, then be sure to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and of course hit that notification bell, that way you're alerted to all the awesome content that can only be found on this channel. Visit the website, player2.net.au, and explore all of our awesome written content as well. If you're a fan of what we do in either the written or video spaces, then please consider becoming a patron of Player 2, where you can help the P2 dream to grow. Patreon.com/player2au. Until next time, that's been this episode of Lazy Gaming, and frankly, video editing. We'll see you next time.
I like this one.